A $40 million producer walked into his manager's office on a Tuesday morning and quit. No warning, no heads up, no chance for a counteroffer. He had already signed with the competitor across town, and he cleaned out his desk by Friday. And here's the part that should scare every branch manager that is watching this. His manager thought everything was fine. Great, actually. This producer hit his numbers every single month. He showed up, he never complained, and he never asked for anything. By the way, that last part matters. He never asked for anything. I want you to hold on to that because it's the whole video. 25 years, I have been coaching mortgage leaders that have taught me this exact story and how it plays out in branches all over this country every single week. And the best producer in the building walks. The manager is blindsided. $40 million in production just strolls out the door along with the pipeline, the referral partners, and unfortunately, usually 2 to 3 loan officers along with them. So in the next few minutes, you're going to learn the 3 signals this producer was sending for months before he quit. Signals that his manager missed because nobody had ever taught him what to look for. And then you're going to get the exact conversation that keeps your best people step by step so you can run it this week. So here's what most branch managers believe. They believe their top producer is happy because production is strong. And that belief is costing you your best people. See, production is a lagging indicator of commitment. Your top producer, he can be mentally gone for 6 months while the numbers still look great, because their pipeline was built on relationships that they created a year ago. The business keeps closing, but the engagement is already dead. I want you to think about it for a moment from the producer side. These guys are professionals. They're not going to sandbag their own paycheck while they look around. So the one dashboard you're watching, production, is the last place that truth shows up. And you cannot manage what you can't see. And most managers are flying blind on the one thing that matters most, which is whether their best people are still emotionally signed up. So let's make it visible. There are 3 signals, and once you see them, you can never unsee them. Okay. Signal number 1, they stop asking for things. This is the one that everybody misreads, right? Oh man, that top producer, he's so easy. He doesn't ask questions. He doesn't need anything. 6 months before this guy quit, this producer stopped asking his manager for anything. No more ask about marketing support, no more ideas for the branch, no more, hey, can we just talk about the future or the branch or anything. His manager read that as contentment. Finally, a producer that doesn't need anything. Wrong. Asking is investing. When your best people bring you requests, ideas, they're building a future with you. When the ask stops, the investing has stopped. They're quietly concluded that you're not the person who gets them to where they want to go. Silence from a top producer is not peace. It's a decision that's already been made. All right, what's signal number 2? They're present in the body, but they're gone in the room. What do I mean by that? He still came in to the Monday huddles, but he stopped contributing. His camera might have been on. Y'all have seen it, but he's quiet, maybe giving one-word answers. You see him in the hallway, one-word answers. He's skipping the team lunch, and he's been at that team lunch every year for 5 years, but he happened to miss it twice in a month. Production might have stayed at 40 million, but his presence dropped to 0. And when the gap between output and engagement gets that wide, you are on a countdown clock. Okay, so what's signal number 3? It's their network. It suddenly gets really busy. What do I mean? New headshot on LinkedIn. They rewrote the profile on LinkedIn. They're having coffee meetings that aren't on their shared calendar. They're going to industry events after years of skipping them. Any one of these alone means nothing, but all 3 together means a recruiter already has their cell number. And in this market, your $40 million producer is getting called every single week. The question was never whether someone would recruit them. The question is whether you re-recruited them first, which brings us to the fix. What is the fix? The re-recruit conversation. What do I mean by that? You recruited this person once, right, to get them in the door? And most managers never recruit them again. But the competition, I'll assure you, they never stop recruiting them. That math only ends one way. So here's the conversation, 3 parts, about 30 minutes, and I highly recommend you book this as its own meeting, not a pipeline review. There's no numbers on the table, okay? Part 1 is what I'll call the look back. Open with one question. Hey, what's kept you here? And then I want you to be super quiet and I want you to listen. You're doing two things. You're learning what they actually value, which is probably not what you assume. And you're making them articulate their own reasons for staying in their own words out loud. People believe what they hear themselves say. Okay. Part 2, the gap. Okay, this is the second question now. Hey, what's missing between where you are and where you want to be in 3 years? Do you know that most managers in this country avoid this question because they're afraid of the answer? But you got to ask it anyway. It exists whether you name it or not. And the only choice you have is whether they explore it with you or with the recruiter over coffee. The manager in our story, he never asked, but the recruiter did. All right. Part 3, the build. I want you to take what they said and build the next 12 months together on paper before the meeting ends, which means before they leave the room. Maybe it's a path to leadership. Maybe it's an assistant that they want so they can grow past 40 million. Maybe it's their name on something that matters. But the specifics matter less than this. Your best producer, he walks out of that room with something to run towards inside your walls. People don't leave for money nearly as often as they leave because nobody gave them a future. So it's your job to give them one. All right, so here's your homework. It's pretty simple. I want you to write down right now the 3 top producers that work for you. And for each one, I want you to answer honestly. When did they last ask you for something? When did they last speak up in a meeting without being called on? And what's happening on their LinkedIn? If any of them trip 2 of those 3 signals, I want you to book this re-recruit conversation like now, this week, because the story at the top of this video went from everything's fine to signing with a competitor so fast, literally within 1 quarter, it went from I'm thoroughly happy here to I'm gone. And I want you to run this conversation with your solid performers too, not just those stars, because re-recruiting, it's not a rescue mission, it's an operating rhythm. At least twice a year, every key person. One more hard truth before you go. If your best people keep leaving, the problem usually isn't the market and it isn't money. It's a leadership gap. And that one's fixable, by the way. And that's exactly what the next video is about. The real reason your best loan officers keep leaving. And the answer is going to sting a little. Click here. Let's keep going.